So we back at the deal.
Mm-hmm.
What made you choose that deal over the other?
I think it was mainly Irv and just the vibe that I had gotten from sitting down with the president of the label.
Mm-hmm.
Irv and myself and him talked, and we had a good talk. And they had explained to me that this was their first endeavor in hip hop, and it would essentially mean I would be the first hip hop artist on this brand new hip hop label.
Oh,
Which I guess now when I think about it, that's a lot of pressure.
yeah.
But I didn't interpret it as that way. I only looked at the pros of it.
Which was
you
was gonna be the star. You gonna be.
I knew that if I did well, and I knew that if I was the thoroughbred, for lack of a better way of putting it, then I knew that my stable would always be
good.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the most part. And I knew that if I did well, it in turn means the label would do well. And if I could usher both myself and them as an entity through those first couple of years or months of establishing themselves, then that's just something that I could look back, within myself and be like, yeah, that was a lot to haul, but you got it to where it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I just like the challenge of it. And I think the other labels, they were all good, but I think that it was just something about, you kind of know you're home when you walk in the door.
Yeah.
Like
No,
you just know where you
yeah.
belong when you walk in the door, I believe. So I felt that when we spoke.
Trust was there and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And we went for it.
Looking at it now, how would you have? Do you regret that deal?
No. No. I can see why people, from their perspective, would look at it and be like, yeah, well, there's probably a lot of room for regret. But I don't, because if I'd have been anywhere else, anytime else, with anyone else, then I wouldn't have the exact experiences that I had.
Yeah.
And my timeline would not have unfolded the way that it did.
Yeah, because you still here, you know what I'm saying, thriving and shit.
No, I don't regret any of it. Even not for 1 minute. It's like it's one of the most amazing times I ever had in my existence on Earth. So I would never regret it.
That was this is the album when you did when you worked with X and Ja.
Yeah, the Natural, the first album. Well, there were two albums. There was the first album and then my sophomore album.
How did that? Well, so you had two albums on that. That.
But
so
the first one was with X, so I don't want to cut you off. That was the X on it, right?
Yeah, X was actually X was on both.
Okay.
Because on the first one,
but he was still early with that. What all the noise about?
Yeah, that's the
That's
second
some respect.
one. Right.
Oh, that's the second one.
That's my joint. That was the second one.
Yeah, that was the second one.
that album was hard.
Yeah.
Puff did that album, I think.
Yeah, Puff. That's what.
Yeah.
Puff
I'm a fan, bro.
I appreciate it, bro. Yeah, he know his shit. Nah, but the first album we did Time to Build. So that was me, X, Rule, and Hov. And that was before they all had signed to Def Jam. And then on the sophomore album, we all got back together and we did Usual Suspects.
That was the song.
That shit was great.
We did Usual Suspects.
Was it because I know a lot of times, when I was a kid, I used to just imagine, like, I had, I'm hearing all four of y'all on the album. I'm thinking all y'all literally in the studio and just really going back to back. Until you start writing
it was like that, but not all the time. Right.
The first song, Time to Build, I think me and Rule, if memory serves me correct, I think we did our verses the same day. Yeah, I think me and Rule did our verses the same day. And X and and Hov came in separately and recorded their verses. And at that time, I didn't at all know who X was. I was familiar with Hov because of the originators with Jazzo, because of Can I Get Open with Original Flavors. So I knew who he was, but I didn't know that he was his style was different.
Yeah.
And all of this I first heard when I first heard Time to Build. And then on top of that,
Wait, so that was like the first time he like switched it up and slowed it down?
Yeah. Or
Wow.
at least the first time that I think the world got to hear him try, or rather just implement a new way of doing it with his delivery. And then I didn't know that him and X had
That
a
whole battle,
friendly rivalry.
Yeah.
So they were actually dissing each other on both verses on the song, but I didn't know. I had to point it out to me. And then Usual Suspects on the second album, that was more of like a family affair. Like we were all in the studio together, like all the Rockefeller dudes, the Rough Rider dudes, the Ink dudes, all of us. Like,
that's crazy.
Fatal was there from Outlaws. Rest in peace to Fatal.
Rest in
my
peace.
bro.
Rest in peace.
Trage came down later verse. The Locks
Tragedy
were-
Gaddafi?
Yeah, there's like three different.
You know who that is?
Yeah,
That's surprising.
but you remember Percy and Tragedy?
Yeah.
You
No,
would impress me if you did that.
Yeah, Percy Chapman. That's
right.
That's my family. Shout out to Trage. So Trage came through, and then we ended up doing like more than one version of that song. We had like maybe 3 different versions of it. And yeah, everybody was there that time.
Now, that had to
For the
be
most part. Yeah, it was
that's a
crazy.
once in a lifetime. Where like, I mean, that'll never happen now. It's everybody's just stoked into who they are.
Jay-Z might not have been there. I definitely remember the Locks were there. I remember X was there. I remember Rule, Flush, Hussein. Yeah, I think Hove might have been the only one who did his verse. Like he wasn't
Separate.
there. Yeah.
So that's crazy.
Was that kind of like a new thing at that time? Because before that, most people did it like together. Like everybody came and did their song as a group.
It was like the
The big stars usually probably did that because they'd be so busy doing whatever
actually
else.
what it was is the technology was changing and it was allowing us to do more.
Right.
So it was right at the beginning of where people were kind of like,
Right, you
well,
couldn't like email a song back in the 80s.
It gotta
do
just
that, right.
began. It
Definitely.
was just getting to like internet wasn't even really being utilized in that sense at that time. But it was enough as to where we didn't have to be in the same space at the same time. So I what I think is if you weren't there, you probably had the track and did it at your own session in the city or whatever, and then they would just have the engineers mix it and we were good.
That's great. Like, I can only imagine, and at those times, the competition was intense. Everybody biting at the bit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy.